So we can now come to order. It is 7:06 on Wednesday, February 9th. This is the Economic Development Commission. So we have a few items on the agenda today. We actually have a few packets over there. So the first one that's on the agenda for today is, so you probably, Carol, you probably have already done this.
No, well, a long time ago. I haven't done this one.
So even if you've taken it already, and you'll have to take it for two, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
We have it's basically conflict of interest and ethics law. I did it just a couple months ago, but I'm going to do it again. And so they're requiring everybody, just for tracking purposes, to do it all at the same time.
Okay.
And so it needs to be done by the end of February. I don't think it took that long. I think it took me like an hour, maybe two. And basically all it is there's a bunch of videos and some text that you watch. And it'll give you multiple choice questions, and then there's a kind of like a test at the end.
Oh, okay.
It gives you a certificate. It's all online. Be sure you click the button to get the certificate
Okay.
and print it out. I made the mistake of saying, oh, I did it, I completed the test, I passed, it must be recorded somewhere. It's not.
Ooh.
So, yeah, so,
Can you print it out later?
no. You can save it
So you
if
had
you
to do it over?
You can save it?
Yes.
You can save it and print it?
Yeah, so if you go to print and then say save as a PDF, and then that'll just save it to your local computer and you can print it when you need it.
Oh, with your local computer. Oh. Problem I got is my computer will not print anymore at home, so I have to go to work and use the work computer, because that's the only one that prints.
So you could
Means I
do,
gotta spend time at work doing this, huh?
so you could do it at home, you do the save as a PDF and then
Yeah.
email it to yourself,
Ah,
and then, just print
that
it.
would do it?
Yep.
Okay, all right, that's what I'll do. That's good.
And so I think there should be another one coming. I talked to Bob a little
Yeah,
bit
that's what I
earlier.
read. What do you want, do 4 a year or something like that?
I'm not sure. He said something about a cyber training. So it's probably like,
Oh, yeah.
spear phishing and, how to, avoid that kind of stuff. I'm not sure what's going to be in this
I have
one.
no idea what spearfishing is.
Yeah.
It's,
Just trying to get into your emails and.
yeah, so like phishing is, you might get an email that said, oh, I saw you tried to log into your account, click this link and reset your password, but it's not actually from the website.
Okay.
And so they're just trying to steal your password.
Okay.
Spear phishing is more targeted. They might go on like a LinkedIn or something like that and see that, you interact with me, maybe we're
Right.
connected on LinkedIn. So they'll make the email address look like it's from me.
From you, okay.
And they'll say, hey, I need a $50 Amazon gift card because we're doing a thing,
Yeah.
or whatever. And, they'll send it to people, like many, many people.
And they
And it's
get
usually for money.
Well, this
Yeah.
might be a good thing to learn, just to learn,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
for your own personal
I have to do that at work.
Yes, I've had to do this for so many clients, I can probably do it blindfolded, but we need the proof and all that stuff. So that's coming soon. We only have 3 weeks to do it because it needs to be done by the end of February. The certificates need to be printed out. We can just throw them in you can do it in either the Finance Committee or the EDC, I just
Yep.
need to know
Okay.
it's done. And then just throw your certificate in the EDC mailbox.
Yep.
And I'll let Chris know.
Is this online?
It's online, you should have the email, I'll resend it though.
Okay.
Since it's online.
Yeah.
Was it in the PDF thing you sent?
Bob forwarded it. There was a PDF attachment.
Okay.
So I think it's two things. One is that test. It should have the web address and the email. And again, I'll resend it.
Okay.
The other is a PDF, and I think the PDF has to be printed out and signed, but the instructions are in the email, and I will resend it.
All right.
Okay.
And just ping me if you have questions. Any questions on that piece? Okay. Next agenda item is, and it's likely to be a quick meeting this time, is going through the minutes from actually the 2 previous meetings. So the first one is January 12th. That's our last meeting. The one before that was November 10th. And so if you wouldn't mind just taking a minute and reading through the agenda, both the agenda and the minutes are attached to each of them. Does anybody have any corrections?
I'll make a motion to approve January 12th. EDC minutes.
I second. All in favor, say aye.
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 I was not at the November 10th one, so I don't want to make a motion on that one.
Okay. I guess we could, still vote on that one. And you abstain?
I abstain.
Okay. So,
Accept it?
So you got to make a
Yep.
motion.
Oh, motion to accept it?
have to be more specific.
Oh.
So I can make a motion. So I will motion that.
November 11th?
Yep.
November 10th, I believe.
The 10th. So I move that we accept without any revisions the EDC meeting minutes from November 10th, 2021. Does anybody second?
A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to abstain.
Yep. Aye. So passes with one abstention. Okay. Okay. So we are on to not reasonably anticipated topics. I did talk to Bob a few minutes ago. He's not here, but he gave me a quick update that the EDA grant work is continuing. There was a preliminary submission, but it's in review, and there's likely to be more work that needs to be done on it. And the rest of the stuff is just kind of a holding pattern. It's, moving, but nothing really new to report there. So that's that. Does anybody have any other topics?
I just wanted to say about Bob, was just so lucky that they've hired him as the coordinator.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of work.
Yes.
He's doing a fantastic job, and he's managed to get these grants and everything. And we've had people that were employed by the town that we were paying a fortune to. None of these grants were applied for.
Wow.
And Bob has been out there and going after them, and he's like a dog with a bone when
He
he's on
is,
something, he's
Yep.
getting it. So
Yeah, he's very
he's
impressive.
doing very good. One of the things that I happened to meet up with Matt Benoit today, the town planner, and discuss with him the possibility of making a change in the earth removal bylaw. I was watching the TV and that three-town thing that's going there, they had to go before Douglas. So one of the things that we got in Douglas is that you can't dig within 10 feet of the high water table. You can't remove the soil within 10 feet of the high water table, so you got to do monitor wells and this, that, and the other. Now, Sutton doesn't have it, Uxbridge doesn't have it, so they're sailing through there, they hit Douglas, all of a sudden they want to know, where's this table, the water, and you can't be within 10 feet of it, and they're all worried about it. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, I've been here for a long time, been on these boards forever. When I was young, now I'm old. Anyway, I remember when that thing went in, and I was responsible for it.
Oh, really?
Because what happened at the time, and this was many years ago, people said, we can't have this earth removal. We gotta stop this earth removal. All that land is gonna be useless. They're not gonna be able to do anything with it. They're not gonna pay taxes. It's gonna be going back to the town. The town's not gonna be able to get rid of it. Nobody's gonna want it. We're gonna lose all these taxes. We gotta stop this earth removal. So I said, well, look, if you only dig within 10 feet of the water table, you can still put in a foundation, you don't have to worry about water in the basement. You can put in a septic system, and then you can still earth removal. You just can't go within 10 feet of it, which made sense at that point. Well, now, it doesn't make any difference. They don't care where the water table is. They're gonna dig right down to it. First off, they're not digging the cellar. They're gonna put in footings, it's gonna be on a slab, so they don't have to worry about getting into the water table. They're bringing sewer up. And as far as the land not being worth anything, it's the most expensive land in town now. He sold the thing up the next street up at Gilmore Drive. You know, there's the Lackey Dam Road exit, then the next one north.
Yep.
That thing for $20 million. The one down here sold for $5 million. And this is a problem.
Is this going to hold things up?
This would hold things up, and especially on the one that we're doing. And there was no need for it. You know, when the planning board was talking to these people, it was like this was some sacred thing, and somebody must have put this in that had, you know, a great background in science and conservation and everything else. No, it just was so they'd get off getting rid of earth removal. There was no science whatsoever. It just worked well at the time. But it's outlived its usefulness,
Right.
and it's an impediment. They need to get rid of it. So he's going to bring it before the planning board, and I hope that they agree with that. In fact, I got an email out to him explaining.
Maybe you should go to that one.
I'm thinking I might.
Because
Yeah.
explain what happened. Yeah.
Because that's what happened. It was no scientific thing behind it whatsoever. So I sit here, now I'm kicking myself. But if I hadn't done it, they would have stopped it all.
Yeah.
And they love those things. They've already been excavated for them. This is the greatest place to go with those big warehouses, you know?
Yeah, it's non-disruptive to the town because right next to the highway, and
Oh,
it brings
right.
in.
It's a
you know,
perfect spot.
Yes,
is.
yep. Yep.
And, you know, we're going to be bringing in some pretty good money from
It's
that.
about time, because
Yeah,
there's
we
nothing in this
desperately need
town.
it.
Yeah, right.
We
We're,
definitely need some tax revenue.
I agree.
don't know how many more overrides we can have.
and we're diversifying the
Yeah.
tax base. I think it's like, what, 98% or 96%? You know,
Residential,
yes,
right.
right, right.
So if we can get some other things in, bringing in some money. And you know what, it's not a thing that causes a lot of disruption. Like-
Exactly.
Like the mall in Millbury, you know, you always have to have the police up there and everything for the traffic. You won't have those problems there,
Mm.
you know?
Hopefully, some people move into town and
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
start doing other things.
Yeah, well, of course, you realize that there's a group of people that don't want anybody else in town.
I know that.
Sure. Yep.
They the last, they would put that drawbridge down, that's
Yeah.
it.
Well, there's that certain number, was it 10,000 that we have to get to?
Exactly.
To
That's
get-
before we
yeah.
can get something that we really need.
You know,
a
like
CVS
pharmacy,
or,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So I'm hoping that, you know, perhaps all the jobs that will be coming out of these
Right,
warehouses, and I know there's another one, you know, it's not in Douglas, but it's going on, you know, right on the other side of 146
Right.
down there. That'll bring a significant number of jobs.
Right.
So I'm hoping with, you know, while it's perhaps not people that are moving into town just yet,
Right.
with that amount of, you know, people in the area,
Right.
maybe it would be easier to convince a CVS or another pharmacy, or even like a micro grocer type
Right,
thing, even if
right.
it's a local place, like, I don't know, Whittier Farms comes in, puts a farm stand type
Yeah.
grocery store or something like that.
That'd be great, because we don't have any.
Right, right.
Sure would be nice to be able to buy some food in town.
Yep. And there's a list of different amenities that are considered kind of like core to growing rural communities by the USDA.
Yep.
And they do have grants to help build that kind of, you know, infrastructure out. It might be grocery stores, it might be pharmacies, it might
Right.
be, you know, a medical clinic, it might be, you know, things like that.
Yep.
That are really required and increase the quality of life of people in towns. So I know we're, you know, fishing for bigger fish right now
Right.
with Bob, but that might be something that we can, you know, this group can take on the side.
Right. Well,
is to-
that might bring in, you know, the need for some of these other, or people to come in. You know,
Right.
you can't force anybody to come into your community. You can try
No.
to just make it as
An
easy
urgent
as
care
you
would be
can.
great, too.
Yes,
What's that?
Like an urgent care.
Oh, yeah.
yep,
There's nothing in this town.
You
yep.
know,
Yeah.
you know, I'll tell you one thing, if you need to go to an emergency room, okay, or if you broke your leg, you cut yourself, I mean, I think if you think you're dying and you're having a heart attack and you need open heart surgery, I probably wouldn't go there. Webster Hospital, it is fantastic. It's up on Route 193. They take you, they don't even ask you what you have insurance, they already get you treated.
Where's Webster Hospital?
If you go into Webster, you come, you know where the grocery store is there,
Price Chopper.
Yeah, Price
Yep.
Chopper.
Okay, if you took a left there, you
Yeah.
kept going. But actually, from here, the easiest way is to just get on 395, go south, get off on the very first exit, take a left, and you down on 193. And you've been
no,
to
I didn't.
Point Breeze.
Oh, yeah.
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 Okay, well, it's actually, you go this way to Point Breeze, across the street, that road is towards the hospital or something.
Oh.
It's no longer a hospital. It used to be years ago, but it's an emergency, they have a wonderful emergency room there. And I ended up kind of not making it downstairs all the way, so I ended up over at the Webster Hospital, and I said to my son, just drop me off, because I was limping. I said, I don't know if I broke anything. I said, I'll call you when I'm ready, because I figured it'd take a long time. So he drops me off. I'm in there. I went in within 3/4 of an hour. I had had my x-rays and everything, and I called my son.
That's
to
kind of
pick me
unheard
up.
of. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you even go to Milford, you're going to be 4 hours waiting. If you
Yep.
go to Worcester, you're going to be 9 to 10 hours
Yeah,
waiting.
yeah.
It's fantastic. My husband ended up with, he wasn't feeling well, and said, I better take you up there. And so they doing some tests and everything on him. I figured, what can they do at Webster Hospital? So I figured they come in, I figured we're going home. They got him in an ambulance going to Worcester. He had a vascular aneurysm.
Oh, my gosh.
But they could see it there. They take the pictures and they email them to Boston, and they're all read in Boston right away. And so, I mean, this was pretty big stuff
Yeah.
that he had done, but they diagnosed it right there at Webster Hospital. And, he did have to go to a big hospital for the operation, but it's fantastic. So if you have, if you have kids, you have to, I'm telling you, go to that Webster Hospital. It's so much faster than going to Milford or going to Worcester.
It's closer, too.
Yeah.
It's closer.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, I've had to use it on a number of occasions. And I just can't get over how good they are, how fantastic they are.
Good to know.
Yeah. Coming back to the earth removal,
Right.
is there anything that you wanted to recommend to the EDC, or is there any action that you want us to take?
But you know what, I think I might try to go to that meeting tomorrow, or maybe I'll just zoom in on it, maybe that's what I'll do. If that's the case, I would say, I would like a letter from the EDC recommending that they delete that entire passage out of the earth removal bylaw.
Okay.
In fact, you know what? If you can pull up the earth removal bylaw, I don't know if you can or not.
Let me see if I can.
Well, we can make a motion to do that, couldn't
That's
we?
what I'm going to say. It's on page 24 of the zoning bylaws. So
Let's
if
see
you
if
pull
I
up
can
the Douglas
find that.
zoning bylaws and go to page 24.
There's a lot of weird stuff on there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, 24.
There should be like 9 items going down on page 24.
120 pages. All right, 23, 24. Let me make sure this is conditions, earth removal. Yep.
Okay. Do you see number 6?
So they're all,
Are you on page 24?
this is, all right, if we go to 24, I just wanted to make sure we're on the right one. Okay.
Okay, page
6,
24, item
yep.
6. Yeah, why don't you read it out loud so that you
Sure.
can hear it?
So this is earth removal. These are the zoning bylaws, section 616 conditions, sub-bullet 6. No excavation shall be made at less than 10 feet above the annual high water table as established from test pits and soil borings. Observation wells shall be monitored to verify this elevation. The board has the right to adjust the depth of the excavation based upon well monitoring information. The information shall be shown on the topographic plan, and a permanent monument shall be erected upon the property.
Okay. There's no need for it.
Well, it also said that you could adjust it.
Right, which means they could adjust it even in the other direction. The whole idea is,
Oh,
now they have to
true.
go in and they have to put monitor wells. and they have to monitor it, and it just, everything just drags it out more. And then it's still got the 10-foot thing. They can adjust it, but it's still.
It's another step.
And there's no valid reason for it. That's
Okay.
what it is. There's no valid reason for it. I tell you what the reason was why we put it in, and that reason doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
You know, if someone's got a piece of land and they want to get it to the point where, you know, they're going to dig so deep, they're going to put a cellar in, they're going to have water in their cellar, well, they're going to have to bring it up. And you know what? The land is worth so much today, they'll bring the material back in,
Right.
make it buildable. Because it's, you know, land is just, there's no more.
Can't make more.
You can't. You know
Yep.
what Will Rogers said, buy land, they ain't making any more of it.
That's right.
And it's getting scarcer and scarcer because it's getting used up.
Yeah.
So I guess my only question would be, and I think I already know the answer to this, this is likely covered or something similar to this in terms of safety regulations and things like that, and I would assume both state and federal, you know, code laws.
Right.
And so I agree with you. I don't see a reason why we'd need to
Right.
add something additional
Right.
to that if that's
Right.
already covered at the state and
It is,
federal
right,
level.
Right.
And it's just another hoop for people to jump
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
So one of you could make a motion to eliminate that from the zoning bylaws, eliminate that number 9 from the zoning bylaws.
Number 6, okay.
Number 6, I mean. If I didn't know how it had gotten in there, because it wasn't in there
I know,
before.
people are probably,
But doesn't it sound like it's very important?
sounds pretty important.
Yeah.
It makes
Yeah.
it sound important.
It makes it sound important, but it's not important.
Yeah, like something happened,
Right.
and then we had to, you
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
make some kind of a bylaw to make sure
Right.
it didn't happen.
Right.
again.
Mhm.
Right.
So to what commission, is this the
The
zoning
planning board,
planning board?
right, to the planning board, because they're going to be in charge of the rezoning. You know, they're going to update our zoning bylaws a little bit, you know.
Okay. Six, 616. Just getting the sections right here. And it's the planning board. So I move that the EDC, I move that in light of, let's start from the beginning. I move that the EDC recommends to the planning board that we strike from the zoning bylaws, section 616, subsection 6, concerning
Earth removal.
earth removal as it relates to the annual high water table from the zoning bylaws.
Sounds good.
By second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Maybe you could email that to them,
Sure.
because I think they're having a meeting tomorrow night. Have it, maybe,
That might help.
yeah.
Yep.
It's a lot.
The planning board.
Okay.
And Matt Benoit.
Sure.
Because, yeah, especially maybe to Matt Benoit. In fact, do you have his email address?
I don't have his email.
I think I have it.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to just show you this because probably maybe he doesn't want to advertise on the television.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. See it right there.
Yep.
Oops. Well, can you get it back?
I'm not sure this isn't moving. Nope.
Let
Okay.
me try to get it again.
Okay.
Okay, here it is, right there. It's that one, the top one.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Thank you. So that was a good call. especially, we're running into, it sounds like we're running into some roadblocks with some of our development
Right.
efforts.
Right.
So that's,
And the thing is, like, we've got these people looking, we don't want to slow them down.
That's right. We don't want any roadblocks.
We don't want any roadblocks, and the other thing too is what happens when you slow things down, sometimes things change.
It costs money.
Rates go up, the whole
Yeah.
project goes down the tubes because you waited too long. That's what happened with the windmills, They're gonna have those wind turbines up on the land in Webster. They just jocked them around. And I mean, I think it was 2 years they had them coming in for meetings. When they finally approved, got to the point of approval,
It's too late.
yeah, Hydro Canada came in and said, we can sell the electricity cheaper, and they couldn't get the mortgages to build with these things. And what happened was those were going up where the state took all this land now for state forests, okay? All of that land would have been there, would have been ripe for development because the windmills only take a little space. Someone had said, well, I don't think you'd want a windmill by an industrial building. I went, they got it sitting on top of a school in Worcester. I
Yep.
think you could put it under
Right.
some industrial
Yeah.
buildings,
yeah.
And now it was 250 acres of good dry land that the state took for state forest. And we get less out of it now than what we were getting before they took it. And we would have gotten the money on the windmills, the taxes for that, we would have gotten taxes for any other development that went underneath them. And now we'll never get anything up there.
Not without a big to-do.
Yeah, time
Yeah.
is money.
Yep.
If you miss the time, you could miss the opportunity because, the economy ebbs and flows. I kind of think we're riding on a crest right now.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, especially with all the, with all the funds that are available, to help.
Right.
It's not going to be there forever.
Right,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So I have that here. And you're saying Sutton and Uxbridge, you looked at their
Yeah.
bylaws, neither of them have
And
anything
that
like
was the
that.
thing, when these people were in front, they had, because the three towns were involved, it's that project that's going on right now.
Yep.
Because the three towns were involved, they had to come before Douglas, and Douglas was giving them, such a hard time over this. And the other two towns, it wasn't in there, they didn't have a problem with it. So I don't know what, I guess they finally, I don't know what actually, the part they were digging, it wasn't even in Douglas, so I don't know why Douglas even had much to say about it. I think in the end, it probably didn't. But I could see the handwriting on the wall when I was watching
Right.
them, and going, this is not good, because I
Yeah.
know what's going to happen in that other place.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're working with the developers and they're, even if it's not quite in, Douglas's
Right.
jurisdiction,
Right.
and they see you putting up a stink, they're going to say,
Exactly,
maybe I don't want to go in Douglas for my
Exactly,
next
exactly.
development. Yeah.
right. We've got another one here in Northbridge, maybe that's where we want to go, or something,
Right.
or Uxbridge or something,
Right.
We'd sure like to have them here.
Yeah, right. As you were saying earlier, make it as easy as possible for people to get in, within reason,
Right,
obviously.
Right,
but-
obviously, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can send that out, and you will be joining that meeting tomorrow?
I think I'm going to try to join it by Zoom.
Okay, great. Good topic. Any other discussion on this topic?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded? All in favor?
Aye.
We're now adjourned at 7:36 PM.